so muggy you can literally see how muggy it is. Whew. That's the kind of day it is. So I've been doing more work here. And since some of the soil is still a little bit alive with stuff that I don't want, I'm putting down boxes as I peel this back. I'm pondering whether giving a bit more porous dirt space between here and that tree might end up helping it self-heal. That's a possibility. Hard to say, but a possibility. So I can give that a try. And I have no idea what this is. It's all that's left here is the paint of I don't know what. I can't pull it up. So I guess it's staying there. It had been so grown over that there was no sign of the fact that it had been there for a while. What can you do? So, yeah, boxes are the plan for now to help suppress, because some of these little bits that are popping up through the Vinca minor and Asian bittersweet are two of the hardest plants to get rid of. There's like big clumps of green all up through here, like still. And I put this down months ago now, like in May. It's August. It's the end of August. It's almost September. I don't know what's going on. Look at how intense these hop combs are getting, especially where they get a lot of sun up the middle. They're getting so big. They're getting so big. So, yeah. Sometimes, oh, look at how big these are. Jeez, wow. Sometimes they're done at the end of August, sometimes the beginning of September. They do kind of roll in ripening. The ones that I can't reach are the ripest. That would figure. Yeah, so it's coming up. The turning on the water for 15 or 20 seconds daily has been really helping these fruit up much larger. I had several raspberries off of this today. It just doesn't get any water over here. Don't know what to do with my hammock stand right now. It was back there while I'm pulling things back, and I tore the hammock bed. So I do have more fabric, but I probably should just dismantle it for now. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. More hops growing up here. The trick for these two that are next to each other is like this. It's trying to prevent them from intertwining, because they just have done. I think I need to cut those apart. And keeping the sticks tall enough for them. It might be a good day, since I've cleared out all the hedge leftovers, it might be a good day to go ahead and cut more. Because this bit... Oh, get off of me, bug. Sorry about that, there was a bug. This bit is still an overhanging bit of a monster there, and I'd really like to get that taken care of too. Other than the tall, lie-topped sticks, I have pretty well burnt or used everything else. And those are good for teepees because they interlock really well. So maybe if I have beans or something next year, they'll be put to use on that. Let's see how the kiwi are doing. Here's hoping they haven't dropped. I didn't check in 2 days, and they're getting awfully close. Little borage and a little bee. Yeah, they're still there. They're starting to soften up a little, but they're not ready. This is tough. This is a difficult. So, yeah, there's this space back here. And, I did trim the tree again a bit. But you can see how this is just like... I'm up inside the dang hedge, see? It sure would be nice to have that trimmed a bit more. There's tomatoes in here. Those have been bird pecked. But there's a few tomatoes in here. Here's one. Getting ready. Oh, the other thing I really need to do today is drag forward. Because look, there's a couple new leaves coming here. I want to drag forward the nitrogen fixed wood ash to see if it can help reduce the suffering of this ridiculous tree that can't seem to figure out how to be a tree. Ridiculous tree. The ridiculous tree is ridiculous. Yeah, the compost doesn't seem to be causing a whole lot of lively overtake by the ground cover. I'm a little surprised by that. I do want to keep adding more rocks to this so that I can actually step the whole way across. Like, there's rocks right here tucked in there, and then it would be nice to put one at the top of, see how the tires have this crook. There's always a rock right there for stepping. It would be nice to have in the second one for each. Or maybe even every other one. That'd be fine. If I could just, you know, have some sort of formula to it. It'd be good to be able to reach stuff a little easier without so much stretching out. The choe pie is pretty well done. It's browned out. Typically it goes to seed here, and that's never been a problem. It is never seeded. I don't know. Maybe I'll jinx it one of these days and it'll seed, but mostly it just keeps increasing its footprint, because that was about this much of a plant and only about 3 foot high when I planted it, and now it's like a 5 foot wide base with arching. I mean, it's like 10 foot tall and maybe 12 foot wide because of the way that it bends down under the weight of its flowers. We got a whole lot of wild carrot back here. Pretty soon it's going to be time to start deciding which new plants to order for next year. I'm not ready for the apple tree yet because I want to clear this space that has, I'd like to just have this plant be available in a container rather than taking over my front yard like this. So that'll be something to try after, and then I'd have to fully clear this zone and put, and I want to do a northern crisp apple because they have the longest storage time and the latest ripening, and about a month worth of harvest range, because you can harvest them at different points of ripeness. However, not ready for it. Would like to get a yostaberry, since this is the precursor to a yostaberry and I really like it, but it's just a running, taking over kind of plant. I'm going to put one here. Probably 2 tundra honeyberries. Tundra and the pollinator blue honeyberries here. And maybe another variety of Saskatoon for the corner back past the cherry, and these 2 Saskatoons, because as I've mentioned before, increased privacy would be awfully nice over there. It would be awfully nice. So I don't know, we'll see. The little spot where the hedges are so very slowly coming in is at least still making progress, but I wish it would fill in sooner. It would be so nice to have privacy from my side yard. But the fennel's still mostly taller than the hedge up there. see, I planted the same thing, for better or worse. You know, I mean, that's Chinese privet. I didn't want to upset the neighbors, so I went ahead and planted more Chinese privet. And then it switches to something even worse over there as far as dispersiveness. That's Rosa Sharon, which, while pretty, and it's in bloom now, so you can see why it's pretty, has a tendency to just end up putting its seeds down everywhere, which is a great frustration as far as trying to keep this sucker at bay. So yeah, here's one. That's what we're talking about here. And all of those fat light green pods are seeds, chock full of seeds that just set and start a new plant if you sneeze. Like, it's ridiculous. It is ridiculous to me. So yeah, I do have the wild grape going quite well down here. I might want to make stuffed grape leaves at some point, because these are pretty big in the shade here. And then there's the wild grape that survived me felling the one tree, the one weed tree back here. It's still just twined around this trunk. And I did severely trim back again the mulberry tree that is self-seeded back here. And it seems to be doing quite well with that. The oak is struggling and continues to have a weeping gash down the side, and I'm wondering if my behavior with plastic might be contributing to that. So I'm gonna start reeling back on that and seeing if it helps. I have my theories, as it were, and my theories are a little bit self-damning on this. So I also do have that the pawpaw I think might be ready to plant in here. That'd be nice if it was. I think I'd like to put it right here instead, because there's one over there, but it got snapped and it doesn't seem to be leafing back out right away. Also, the ground got really dry back here, so it's interesting. This whole thing is doing really well, though. This is the lupine. Look at that cool leaf. That is a cool leaf. That's a burdock. I'm letting, for whatever that's worth, I'm letting the deadly nightshade grow. Everything I've researched says that if you can confirm that it's definitely deadly nightshade, that name is completely a misnomer, and the berries are edible. But do your own research before you just follow my advice on that. I haven't tried it myself yet. Fascinated here. So I do have a bunch of native milkweed, which to my understanding is a very important item for the monarchs, and I've seen a few up here. And even more important is that you specifically get the native milkweed, because the milkweed plant, having the non-native has been disrupting the migratory patterns, and has indeed, studies have been finding that that's actually, having milkweed that's not native has been worsening the fate of the monarch butterfly, more so even than the sparse presence of the native type. But here's the fascinating thing. What the heck are these orange aphids? They freaking love the thing. I've seen them on them before, but Like, that's getting bad enough that I might have to use my organic bug spray to save it, because it's like a carpet of aphids. That's really gross. And I don't know why they're shiny. I don't know why the leaves are shiny either, so that's serious. And this one's got issues too. And it's not caterpillar season, so that's not what those issues are. Part of me really just wants to let it, you know, see how it goes. But part of me is worried. Hard to say. Here's another weed. The, what is this again? Pennyroyal is doing really well. So it turns out that's a self-reseeding annual, I guess, in this climate. At least mostly. So I'm happy it keeps coming back. That's good. My walkway echinacea never did bloom this year. It's self-seeded. I just let it. Oh, look, there's bugs inside. These are more of those glads from my brother's house. And the glass collection is pretty well subsumed by, and this is again deadly nightshade. Oh, look, here's some berries that have gone black. So theoretically those are edible. I'm still nervous, but I'm going to harvest them. I mean, they are in the tomato family, so there's poisonous things in the tomato family and there's edible things in the tomato family. And it's just really hard to know for sure what you got. So I'm going to check. Super sureness before I eat these. It's a small handful for a first harvest. One of them's all splatted open. So, if this works out, that might be a good cover crop for this section. The only trouble with a tall cover crop is that it's hard to see when you have weeds coming in underneath in order to, you know, mitigate the problem before it gets serious. Yeah, so there's quite a few in here, huh? Like more than a handful. I can't continue to harvest right now. Those are cute. Alright. I don't know if they're edible or not for sure. I need like a safety to try some of my food. Like someone around just to take me in case it goes wrong. These are going really well. Really, really well. Look at how awesome those are. So these should develop into amaranth seed. And they are good cooked greens. And they're good salad greens, but they start to get a bit tough at this point when the seed heads are this big. Strawberries have not done anything else. Neither have I with my mess on the porch. Rhubarb is still doing pretty serious here. It's a nice little plant to have. That's probably about it. I think this might be long enough. Ooh, it is. It's a long one. So, happy fall, and have a great one. Bye.